One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. Let's see if I can turn this volume up a bit. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm just going to talk a little more loud than I normally do. Good morning, loves, good morning. Fathom DJ live and direct via Spreaker for what is a morning love pop-up topic. I have been sparingly pouring a bit of information in particular places on the internet. I have been formatting more newsletters than I normally would, and I am finding it to be productive in creating a different level of social media trail. That's not what this is about, but I do need those of you who are interested in continuing to follow me to go to my findingfathomdj.com website and add yourselves to my mailing list there, because my content will come from there, or my updates will continue to come from there first, and then I will sparingly pour them in other places, including my fan page on Facebook and my blog and LinkedIn. You may or may not get a bit of that content on Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. Not LinkedIn, you will get it there. LinkedIn will be one of the spaces that I use from a professional standpoint, continue to use. But Instagram, Twitter, my personal page on Facebook may or may not get that content. That's not what this is about. This is about the spirit of depression. We can call it dark moments if you prefer, that seems to be plaguing the creatives particularly. I don't even know if the non-creative people will be able to identify with what may or may not create spaces of depression for creatives. I don't even know if the non-creatives will understand that these dark spaces that are linked to moodiness / sadness / depression are really what depression is. As a creative person, I have to create. I also have to bring my creations to people. In part, that is what being a vessel means. Of course, I create. I have to. I doodle. I write poetry. I write my thoughts out. I occasionally paint and draw. I create content. I am inspired by tons of things, and I try my best to convey that information to people as I experience it, because I think that it's important for us to have commonality. And I don't find commonality in what is normal about society. I don't find commonality in popular topics unless they affect us from a spiritual or political or musical space. When I say popular topics, I think of things like, what Jay-Z and Beyonce do, what these football players or entertainers might do in their leisurely, what they might say. I don't find those things to be inspiring. The connection to real people who are interested in real energy and real vibes is very important to me. In the last year, I will say, almost, not quite, it's almost close to the year that I had the dream that I woke up from smiling, suggests the idea of what makes me happiest. And I think what that is servicing people. I have serviced people in terms of natural hair for well over 20 years. I have serviced people in terms of music for well over 20 years. And as a creative person, I have serviced people with art and energy for well over 40 years of my life. I find solace in providing people with good energy and creating happiness. The downside to that is being a people pleaser and not finding a way to convey that energy, or not directly hitting home. It is one of the reasons why I now know that social media is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. If you're a real person, and I have to say this again because it will resonate for some. If you're a real person in a real world, you may find yourself very lost trying to please people on the internet. Last night, I was invited to play at a space that I truly am going to miss, though it was my first time spinning there. The Darling, which is at 905 West Randolph. I don't know the ins and outs of the business because this is my first time being in that room. I have heard of the space, but the idea of being there and getting the truth about being an artist and being told to do your thing is very encouraging. It's also very encouraging that the owner is a female, and it is very encouraging that someone, this female, and I'm sure she has a group of people that she works with, took the time and energy to detail this space. It has given me in the last, I was there from 8 until probably about 1 o'clock because after my set, which ended around 11-ish, I just hung out. And I normally don't do that. I may hang out a little bit, but to want to hang out in a space and just be there, there is love in that space. There is a specificity in that space that made me feel so good about the work that I just did. The rules were the opposite of what I know as our climate as DJs and creative people. You know, we're thrown into these spaces at this point where people just simply want to hear what they want to hear. And most owners are more interested in keeping a crowd than they are of creating a tone musically. The Darling is one of those places where you get to experience the truth about DJs, the truth about the hospitality industry, the truth about a well thought out business concept and execution. My only role in it was to come in and be myself entirely, without the thought of who's on the internet that I need to impress with my music, what will make people dance and move, more so about a sentiment that I wanted to give to people. I cannot tell you how refreshing it is to find spaces that are specific about the type of musical tone and the type of people that they want in those rooms. Now, and this is no just to anyone, I have found spaces, unfortunately, where we are, and you know who we are, to be less about tone making, be less about forward thinking, to be less about storytelling for DJs. It is one of the reasons why I have, unfortunately, not fit in what is considered popular places for DJs in the city of Chicago. It is one of the reasons why I have not fit as a person in the city of Chicago. Now, there's a few personal issues that I think have to do with the reason why one person who thinks a certain way may not gel with the masses. But when you're trying your best to convey a message that says freedom, creativity, that says good feeling, thoughtful art in a musical format, you will often find yourself displaced in what is normally popular. And this has been my battle my entire life. I don't think there's anything wrong with owners wanting to make money. I don't think there's anything wrong with DJs wanting to make money. But if you're not DJing from a space of happiness, if you're not creating from a space of happiness for yourself, it is very likely that you will end up doing things for people that don't please you. It includes your everyday job that could or could not be making you sick. You might be very successful financially doing the thing that you do, doing the work that you do with your job. But in your spirit, if your spirit is not full when you finish doing that job, then it's probably going to create toxicity in your spirit and maybe in your physical body. This is important to know because this is where depression lives. This is where anger and sadness and frustration live. Being of service to people for all of the years that I have done this has mostly brought me joy. Encouraging people to love themselves naturally has brought me incredible joy. The compensation for that at one point was incredibly good. And that was the icing on the cake for the work that I was doing. Music and encouraging people to step out of the box and love the feeling of music that they may or may not know. Getting caught up in the tone of music and the lyrics and the message via lyrics and musicality create a feeling that touches people in a way that you cannot imagine. It's why I'm drawn to music. It's why I am a vessel for this music. In other words, it is one of the most important spaces that you can find the love of God in, and knowing that is to attract a particular type of people. Not everyone will subscribe, but those people who feel the concept of who you are and what you are to bring to the table will be drawn to you, will understand that. That is what I know for certain. In my darker moments, not knowing if I was going to be able to continue, not understanding what the universe had in store for me, creates those spaces of darkness, creates spaces of depression. But if you can hold on to the things that make you happy, then you will find happiness and it will seek you. And that is why the law of attraction is incredibly important in my life. It has been a very incredibly challenging month. It's not quite been a month since I had my car accident, which I will consider one of my awakenings. But for the sake of the conversation, this span of time has given me so much more energy and time to think about the gratefulness that I have for all of the things that I'm experiencing, both good and bad. I need those people who are fearful and afraid to cling to the thing that you love, to cling to the thing that makes you happy doing for yourself. If you cannot find a way to do that every day, you have to make the promise to yourself to do it as often as you can. If you don't know what that thing is, you have to find time to discover it. If you don't find time to discover it, you will end up doing things that may not be for you. And without being judgmental, I won't be specific about what those things could be. But there are a lot of people doing negative things to simply be somewhere, to be outside of themselves, to be away from their problems. And I understand the reason why one might choose these things. If I had to, I'm just going to put it in a way. One of those things might be, overly drinking or doing drugs or anything that you do obsessively and may not have a real vested reason for doing them. And I do understand those things as well. But there's a lot of idle time that creates the space that ends up being or putting you in spaces of depression. If you can stay busy in search of your love and finding time to feel good and finding people to be around who truly understand you, who, make you genuinely happy, then maybe, just maybe, it will help. If you're hanging out with people who are always caught up in drama, who, always got something negative to say about someone, who, can't find positive things to talk about and ways to enhance your experience, you are better off being alone. You are better off dealing with your quest on your own. A lot of us are on social media pouring all of our content in, pouring all of our business in, and thinking that, these people who are there are really into you and really looking for you and searching. And there's a psychological game that's being played in that environment. And unfortunately, if you are not careful, you will get so caught up in it that that you realize that you're not in control of yourself and you're outside of yourself. And I understand the idea of why this happens. I want to encourage those people who are in pursuit of creative endeavors for professional reasons, for professional pursuits, to be as specific and be as interested in creating some type of business regime for yourself as you can that doesn't include social media first. Social media should be secondary to your website, should be secondary to quality photos and imaging, should be secondary or even last to pursuing contacts and networks. Your first mission is in the real world. Your first mission is to find a place in the real world where you can do the thing that you love for people and with people. And then that trail is to be cycled back to the internet. This way, you don't have to wonder, you don't have to be disappointed, you don't have to worry about the internet and all of the information that it's going to give you that says, oh, this person is doing this and you're not. Or look at the shoes that she has, you should have those. Try to get as focused on what you need and require as you possibly can and what makes you happy. And that may be, for me, personally, it means not hanging out in spaces like the internet, not being idle in those ways. I am encouraged based on what I experienced last night at the Darling, because it says, regardless to this massive group of people who only subscribe to one particular genre of music, there are more people who are in the real world who are waiting to encourage and support your style of playing, your art and creativity, your loves of music and art and food and fashion. And those people, not to say that you aren't trying to be liked by those people would naturally be drawn to you by you being yourself. What happens a lot of times with social media is people end up turning into other things to try to become liked. And of course, that's not just the social media thing, because people in the real world are trying so hard to be liked by folks that they're outside of themselves and doing things that may not make them happy. I am doing my best to put myself first. My move is set, and the job that I have done and love to do at some point as a hobby, at some point as a profession, and that has its ups and downs as a DJ, makes me incredibly happy regardless to the odds. And there are tons of odds. I had a conversation with a Lyft driver yesterday that talked about how everybody is a DJ and, it doesn't have that value. And I was reminded of how much work I've put in. Collecting all of the records that I collected, playing in places that I may or may not have liked, and my history. And it made me very grateful, and it reminded me of the reasons why. If you love what you do, if you love where you've done it in any capacity, if you've had good, great, or bad opportunities, but they haven't thwarted you from continuing, that you should definitely continue. And you definitely have to find people who understand why you do it and are interested in either supporting you or putting you in a position to continue doing it. And that may not be that may be kind of hard to find. But if you stay true and you stay prayerful and you stay grounded, grounded, then you most certainly will be aligned with the right people and the right circumstances. And I know this firsthand. Against the odds, regardless to who supports you and doesn't support you, if you love what you do and you're motivated beyond the funds, I'm not saying funds and compensation aren't important. I pride myself on being in spaces and places that compensate decently or well. I pride myself and have prided myself on trying my best to do better business so that I can acquire opportunities to be compensated decently or well. And that is a format. But, I want to make sure that those people who are creative, who are aspiring, who are battling and fighting depression or dark spaces, who don't understand the idea of faith, who may end up in a lower level space, understand that staying true to your heart, staying true to your gift, and surrounding yourself with the right type of energy. That's some work, finding the right types of energy. But if you do that, then you will get exactly what you are searching and looking for. And of course, just like every other morning love that I do, that's on my heart. And it's from my heart. And regardless to who will hear this or won't, at some point someone will find these podcasts and be encouraged and inspired. And it is definitely one of the gifts and one of the things that I know that I can be and do for people that fills me. I had a very long conversation with one of, I don't know what to call her, but with someone who is aspiring to DJ. And I understand a lot about her. And what I feel I can bring to the table for her is something that wasn't brought to the table for me. I'm just getting to the point of really manning my machine and doing things that I think that I should do based on the mistakes that I've made. I didn't have a DJ a mentor. I have a few mentees at this point, but I didn't have a DJ mentor to say, oh, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. This is how you want to go about it specifically. I didn't quite have that. And so I sought what I could seek and made a bunch of mistakes and may continue to make mistakes, but that's a part of the process to get where I am. And I'm not where I want to be. I'm getting there. But if I can help anyone navigate, if I can suggest ideas and things that one should try and they make sense to that individual, then I most certainly am going to do that, because again, I know that it will inspire and help those who are in need. Now, on the opposite end of it, there's still me and what I need and require that may not be taken care of based on the idea that I'm helping others, and that may not be reciprocated. What we want, or what I want, is a return emotionally, and a return in terms of just being supported with what I have to do. And a lot of times what happens when you are there for people, they forget that you may be in need, or that you may, fall into dark spaces or what have you. And I just would like to hope, and I'm taken care of by the universe, most certainly, but I hope that there is some type of reciprocation that you are interested in giving to people who really come through for you or who really inspire you, because one of the reasons why the internet is looking like a very challenging place for people is the fact that we are creating lots of content, and there is no guarantee at all that when you have issues or you need help, that those people will aid you. It is a very taking space for a lot of us with little give. And that is my concern for myself, but it's also my concern for people who are challenged to create brands, challenged to be entrepreneurs, challenged to provide individual, independent services for people. There is the idea that you may put a lot of work in and get very little out. And this is the reason why you have to speak or seek spiritual places and spaces, and you have to seek a strong foundation and grounding for yourself. And I have talked for a little bit now. My move date has been set for September 26th, and I will continue to add content to this Morning Love page. For those of you who are listening or who may find this, once I am, and of course I'm playing music, I've created a new mix, and I may end up posting it to the Morning Love page. It's called Sweet Nice Mix, Sweet Nice, and it is Afro-Caribbean flavors. I am going to probably have to change the date for Morning Love, and based on my schedule with work, once I get settled in Atlanta, and not sure what that's going to be like yet, but we are going to continue with music, love, and light, and truths, because I know that it is necessary for me to convey these sentiments, and someone will find them necessary in their aspiring for this information. So that's all I have to give you today. I am sending you cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day and the rest of your week. It's your girl Fathom DJ for Morning Love. Last night was the Darling. I played at a place called the Old Plank on last Saturday, which is an amazing restaurant with great sound, with great DJ equipment, with very open and receptive energy, with a great staff of people, and seemingly a nice flow of customers. And the Darling, of course, was last night, and I will be playing the Walk-In in Logan Square, which is 2727 North Milwaukee Avenue, on Friday. So if you want to come catch a groove, have some drinks, show me some love and energy by doing those things, boogieing, drinking, kicking it, dancing, being happy, you most certainly are welcome to join me as Friday may be, because I don't have anything on the books for the weeks ahead. Friday may be my last gig in Chicago until somebody decides to request me from Atlanta. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to going and getting involved with Rocksteady and creating the space that I know people will love when they come to visit me. I'm also looking forward to being able to maintain some possibilities in Chicago and flying in and playing at these lovely spaces when I get an opportunity to do so. So that's what's up with Fathom DJ for today. Once again, I'm sending you cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day and week. You can find me in your worldwide webosphere. Oh, it's going to be different. You can find me in your worldwide webosphere at findingfathomdj.com. You can find me on LinkedIn at Fathom DJ. You can find me on TrackSource, Beatport, Amazon, iTunes. You will find me on YouTube. What did I say? YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify. You will find a little of my content on my fan page on Facebook. And you definitely want to start at findingfathomdj.com. And, ooh, shit. I'm making a mess. I'm creating a concoction for myself. And I'm screwing up a bit. So I'm going to go. So anyway, I will talk to you hopefully next Wednesday. Space. Shazam. Good morning, Jay. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. I'm hoping that you will find the content that I have posted helpful in your plight for love, light, and positivity. I will be kind of off the grid a little bit in terms of music here. But I definitely have thoughts and ideas that I'm interested in sharing, and that is what I did. So when you get an opportunity, if you're interested, you can take a listen to this cast. And, of course, you can find me in your worldwide webosphere where you will. But if you are interested in getting a direct connect for what's happening, you can go to my website and enter your email address. And I'm not going to be bugging people all the time via email, but I will be kicking out email content that way more than I will be popping up and servicing Facebook. Facebook servicing is a very interesting space. So anyway, that's what's up. And I will, damn, I really messed this up. Okay, I'll just tell you what I'm doing since that's 38 minutes. That's a lot. I got to get my timing back down. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making my tonic. And my tonic is lemon, lime, fresh lime, ginger, garlic, cinnamon, nutmeg, and honey. It is in my opinion, I found it to be helpful in terms of keeping me from getting sick, getting colds. It's given me a lot of energy. It's given me a lot of nutrition and cleansing. And, this car accident and my body aching and having headaches and all of this stuff has created the need for me to boost my immune system and to rid myself of some toxins. So I'm getting my alkaline water, which I get from a buddy here in Chicago who delivers alkaline water. I'm adding a little extra natural remedies to my alkaline water so that I can get back to my better self for all things that I need to do, physically, mentally, and most certainly spiritually. So anyway, that's what it is. You'll find me in your World Wide Webosphere, like I said, at findingfathomdj.com. And I am sending you peace and grace. Space.